I'm Opie Macleod, self-professed Jedi. These are my personal musings. Enjoy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey everybody, I wanted to make a video talking about a topic that someone asked me about. Obviously by the title you can tell, this actually transcends both fiction and the Jedi community. We're going to talk about Jedi being jerks.
How rude.
Mainly because of this line right here.
You almost got us killed. Are you brainless?
I speak.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Is a core thing that I think a lot of people misunderstand. There's a difference between being a jerk and being snarky. And let's compare. We'll compare with one Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Especially young Obi-Wan Kenobi. Definitely shows that he's always snarky, but he can cross the line too. There's definitely a way to look at this. Okay, so first, let's look at Obi-Wan Kenobi being snarky.
You were right about one thing, Master. The negotiations were short.
This is clearly a joke. This is clearly snarky. It's taking a jab, but it's not mean. It's not mean-spirited. It's not insulting in any way, right? Next, let's look at this one.
Why do I sense we've picked up another pathetic life form?
It's the boy who's responsible for getting us these parts. Get this hybrid.
He is rebuked, and the face of Obi-Wan acknowledges that rebuke right away. This was crossing a line. This was being insulting. This was being dismissive of life. This was being dismissive of a living person. And so this crossed the line. That was insulting. We know snark and we know insulting. So we have to go back to Qui-Gon's line.
You almost got us killed. Are you brainless?
I speak.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Now, if you know The Phantom Menace, if you know the movie pretty well, you understand that the next part that kind of follows this, where Obi-Wan shows up and they talk about what's coming.
Hear that?
Yeah?
That is the sound of 1,000 terrible things heading this way.
There's an understanding of moving along. And what this scene really reminds me of, what this scene really tells me about, is the deer and the abbot Zen story, right? And it's a story that I'm gonna make it as brief as possible. This isn't the actual, full story. But it goes like this. A deer one day comes and is grazing around a monk monastery. And the monks, thinking that it's cute and it's awesome and life is precious and life is great, they start feeding it some of their leftovers, some of their scraps. The abbot of the monastery learns of this and he sees it and he comes running out, throwing sticks and rocks at the deer, rah, yelling, and he throws it and the deer runs off into the woods, never to be seen again at the monastery. Or he really asks, which is more compassionate? The fact that you are treating a wild animal to come and trust humans when there are plenty of hunters out there and plenty of people who do that, to make it understand that it doesn't have to fend for itself, that it doesn't have to eat grass, or that we make nature wild and we keep it away and let it understand that it belongs out there, we belong in here. There's a reason for the difference, which one's actually more compassionate. And it's a great story. You can draw your own conclusions. I use it in Jedi training program all the time, asking, what is the compassionate response? Is it feeding the deer, or is it scaring the deer away to go find its own way in nature? Here's the thing. In that scene, I fully believe Qui-Gon is, if you look at the context of it all, right? If you look at everything in the context, the beginning of that scene to the end, it is very much an acknowledgement of, you need to go away, because this is a very dangerous situation and you need to go to nature. You need to go do your thing. Grabbing onto me and depending on me isn't the way of survival. It isn't the way forward. Now later, of course, in the movie, Qui-Gon acknowledges that Jar Jar might have a specific reason. The Force might have put him in his path for a reason, and they take him along on a journey. The rest is history. I don't really care about your opinions on Jar Jar. Please save it. The point here is simple. If you tell someone in the Jedi community, if you tell anybody that I'm being mean to you because you need to learn how to take it, because the rest of the world's not going to be nice, you've missed the entire point of not only Jedi philosophy, but of the Jedi path.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
The world will provide enough examples. Your own argument tells you why it's broken logic. See, the world life is going to test you. It is going to put people in your path that are dealing with stuff. So they might be rude, they might be apathetic, they're just might be malice, just pure malicious intent in some people. And you might come across these people. Life is gonna test you all on its own. You don't need your mentors and your community to treat you like garbage to toughen you up, because we have our philosophy that live by. Look, Jedi's a big box, but it's still a box. That means you have a philosophical code in which to live by. And if you're not doing that and you're using justification, well, Qui-Gon was insulting to Jar Jar Binks, so I'm being insulting to you to toughen you up, because if you can't handle me being a jerk, how are you going to handle people out there being a jerk who are going to be worse?
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
That's not your role, buddy. That's not what Jedi do. That's not in the Jedi philosophy. Don't let anybody ever tell you that they are toughening you up. It is a justification for their own misbehavior. If they're being rude to you and they're being mean to you and they're not acting Jedi-like, that's a failing of the Jedi circle. Accountability, self-honesty, patience, peace, knowledge, serenity, harmony. Where's all this stuff at? Where's the awareness, right? Where's the diplomacy that we know Jedi are supposed to have in their path? No. As the saying goes, those who are very proud of their brutal honesty are more interested in the brutal part than they are the honesty. Because you can be honest without being brutal. Because you can be honest, you can say things, and you can get the truth out there, and you can get your point across without being a jerk. And I'm using that word because I'm keeping this PG-13, okay? We know what that means. We know what people can be. Be a Jedi. And if anybody claims to be a Jedi and they treat you like absolute garbage and then try to say, well, Qui-Gon was rude, Qui-Gon wasn't nice, so I don't have to be nice. And how are you gonna experience the world if you can't even take it from me? That's not the Jedi path, that's not the Jedi community, and that's not our job, and that's not what we're here for. We're here to train people the tools of the Jedi Way, which help them prepare for the outside world. Patience, serenity, all of these things, equity, these are the things that help us deal with those tough situations in the outside world. Our path, our philosophy, that's how we deal with the outside world. In the community, we should be a supportive and caring community of Jedi, uplifting one another, not tearing each other down because Qui-Gon said something that could, out of context, be taken as an insult. Food for thought, Jedi. Food for thought. Thank you for watching. You know where the buttons are. May the Force be with you.